All right, let's jump right into it. We're diving into La Liga today, folks.
Yeah.
Specifically, a match that, well, let's just say it had people buzzing.
Oh, I bet it did.
We're talking Atletico de Madrid versus FC Barcelona. And
They always bring the passion, don't they?
they really do. And this analysis is, well, let's just say it's as fiery as the match itself.
Can't wait to hear this.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Barcelona won. Big deal, right?
Happens all the time.
Yeah, but this wasn't your average victory. They were down, get this, 2-0 with only 20 minutes left on the clock.
Okay, now that's impressive.
And to pull off that kind of comeback at the Metropolitano Atletico's home turf, that's a statement win, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge statement, especially when you consider Atletico Madrid's reputation.
Right.
I mean, they're known for their defense. They're tough to break down. They frustrate opponents. And with a manager like Cholo Simeone, well, they embody that fighting spirit. So to see Barcelona not only break through, but do it so convincingly in the final stages of the match, it really speaks volumes about their mentality.
It really does. It's almost like they flipped a switch, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you're right.
What was the turning point for you? Because magical shift.
I'd have to agree. This wasn't just tactics. It was a mental game.
For sure.
And for me, the turning point was, without a doubt, Robert Lewandowski's goal. The one that brought Barcelona back within one.
Ah, yes.
With a pure 9 goal, and that's exactly what it was. Perfect positioning, showcasing those predatory instincts in the box.
Like a true striker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the goal itself. It was the timing,
Yeah.
the way it completely shifted the energy. Suddenly, Barcelona had this surge of belief, while Atletico, well, you could see the doubt creeping in.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got this incredible comeback brewing, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, I'm curious, how did Atletico build that 2-0 lead in the first place?
Oh, it was classic Simeone right from the start. Absorb the pressure, stay compact defensively, and then, bam, hit Barcelona on the counter.
Ah, the counterattack.
And they were executing it brilliantly, especially Julian Alvarez. His pace was giving Barcelona's high defensive line all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, I noticed that every time Atletico won the ball, it felt dangerous.
Exactly, like a ticking time bomb. But then, and this is where things get really interesting, Simeone makes a decision, a substitution.
Uh-oh.
He takes off Julian Alvarez.
No. But he was playing so well.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so controversial. What was Simeone thinking?
What?
Well, they don't hold back. They call it a potentially game-changing decision. And I have to agree. I mean, fatigue could have been a factor, sure, but Alvarez was arguably their most dangerous player at that point.
He was electric.
Taking him off seemed to disrupt their attacking flow, and it definitely gave Barcelona some breathing room.
So potentially a mistake.
Well, it's a decision that'll be debated for weeks, that's for sure, and Simeone is going to have to answer for it.
I bet. So we've got Barcelona clawing their way back, Atletico maybe losing a bit of that edge, and then enter Lamine Yamal. This kid's only 15, and he scores the final goal, the one that seals the deal for Barcelona. What can you tell us about this rising star? Because, I mean, they were raving.
They were right to rave. Lamine Yamal, he's the real deal. And what's remarkable isn't just his technical skill or vision, which, at his age, it's exceptional.
He's pretty incredible.
It's his fearlessness. He's playing against seasoned professionals, but you'd never know it. Always demanding the ball, taking on defenders, creating chaos in that attacking third.
Here's fire.
And that final goal, it wasn't just a tap-in. It was a composed finish. Showed real maturity beyond his years.
I love to see that. But let's not forget about another key player in this whole comeback story, Ferran Torres. Comes off the bench, scores 2 crucial goals, talk about changing the momentum. It's like Barcelona has a secret weapon hiding in their reserves.
Super sub comes to mind.
It does.
And Torres seems to have embraced that role. I mean, think about the impact he had in such a short amount of time.
It was huge.
His pace, his directness, the way he found space in the box, it just caused problems for Atletico's defense. And they were already tiring.
Yeah, they were definitely fading.
Those 2 goals, they weren't lucky. They were the result of a player coming on with something to prove.
And prove it he did.
It's interesting. This match really felt like watching 2 completely different philosophies clash.
It did, didn't it?
On one hand, you have Atletico, a team built on, well, basically not letting the other team score. Tactical discipline, capitalizing on mistakes.
Yeah, very strategic.
And then there's Barcelona, who want to control the ball, set the pace, and create chances through these intricate passing movements.
Beautiful football.
It is, and this clash of styles, it's a big part of what makes La Liga so exciting to watch.
Absolutely. And what's amazing is that even though Barcelona wasn't at their best for the entire match, they still managed to impose their will, especially in those last 20 minutes. Doesn't that say something about them as a contender?
Oh, for sure. It shows they have depth, talent, but more importantly, this belief that they can win even when they're behind.
That's the mark of a champion, right?
Absolutely. That mentality, it separates the good from the great.
Right.
And you can't discount the influence of a manager like Xavi.
Right.
He understands the Barcelona DNA, He instills that winning mentality in his players.
Went so far as to say that Barcelona is playing the best football in Europe right now. And I know it's early in the season, but their form is hard to argue with. What do you think makes this Barcelona team so special?
Well, they have this great mix of experience and youth. They've got veterans like Lewandowski, who brings that world-class goal-scoring ability.
He's a beast.
And then you have these young, energetic players like Yamal and Pedri, who are hungry, fearless.
The future is bright.
And let's not forget the midfield. They control the game with so much intelligence and precision.
It's a joy to watch.
It really is. It's a team capable of both beautiful flowing football and then grinding out results when they have to.
And Atletico, even in defeat, they still showed their quality. They were organized, disciplined, and they made Barcelona work for every opportunity. What did you make of their performance?
Well, Atletico is always a tough opponent. And they certainly made things difficult, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Their counterattacking threat was very real, and they finished their chances well. But as the game went on, you could see the fatigue setting in.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where Simeone's substitutions, well, they might have played a part.
Speaking of those substitutions, let's go back to that decision to take off Julian Alvarez. Tactical error. Looking back, do you think it backfired?
It's hard to say for sure, but you do wonder what could have happened if he had stayed on. He was a constant threat. His pace was stretching Barcelona's defense. And taking him off, it seemed to disrupt their attack. It gave Barcelona the chance to take control.
Do you think it was fatigue? Or was it tactical?
It's tough to say. We might never know the real reason, but it definitely had a big impact on the match.
It's those little moments in football, those decisions made in the heat of the moment that can really determine the outcome. And as fans, we get to analyze, dissect, debate those what-ifs.
It's true. That's the beauty of the game. It's a game of inches, a game of moments, and sometimes the smallest decisions have the biggest consequences.
Highlighted the impact of Barcelona's substitutions, especially bringing on Ferran Torres. Do you think he's become like a secret weapon for Xavi?
Torres is a player who seems to thrive under pressure. He comes on with fresh legs, ready to prove himself, and his energy, his direct style, it can really shake up a tired defense.
He's got that spark.
He does. And in this match, he was the perfect solution to break down Atletico's resistance. Those two goals, they were a result of his clinical finishing.
It's interesting to see how this super sub role has evolved in modern football. Players like Torres, they're not just happy to sit on the bench, but they see the value they bring coming in and making an immediate impact.
Absolutely. And in a team like Barcelona with so much talent, not everyone can start every match. But it's that ability to embrace different roles, to contribute however they can, that makes a team truly special.
So we've talked a lot about Barcelona's dominance, but what about Atletico? What does this loss mean for them? I'm too optimistic about their title chances.
It's definitely a setback, but La Liga is a long season.
A marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. They're still a capable team, and they'll be looking to bounce back. But this match did expose some weaknesses, their reliance on counterattacks, the lack of depth in some areas.
I see what you mean.
If they want to be serious contenders, they'll need to address those issues.
It is putting their money on Barcelona for the title. And after a performance like this, it's hard to disagree. But as you said, it's a long season. Anything can happen in this league.
That's what keeps us on the edge of our seats. The drama, the twists and turns, the moments of brilliance, that's what makes football so captivating. And this match, Atletico versus Barcelona, it was the perfect example.
You know, watching this match and get all down, it really hit me how much this game reflects what's happening in La Liga as a whole this season.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like we're seeing a shift in power, you know, like a changing of the guard.
I think you're right. For years, La Liga has been dominated by teams like Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, teams built on defense, tactical discipline. But now Barcelona, under Xavi, they're embracing a more dynamic style, possession-based, and it's working. This match, it felt symbolic, like a passing of the torch.
And leading the charge is this new generation of talent, players like Lamine Yamal. He's only 15 and he's already making a huge impact. A lot of time talking about his potential.
And rightfully so. Yamal, he's a special player, no doubt about it. This match wasn't just about the goal he scored. It was everything, his confidence, going up against these experienced defenders, creating chances for himself and his teammates. He embodies that excitement, that flair Barcelona's known for.
It's exciting to think about what the future holds for him, for Barcelona as a whole. But before we get too carried away with predictions, let's come back to this match and the questions it's raised, particularly about Cholo Simeone and that substitution. Do you think taking off Julian Alvarez cost Atletico the game?
It's impossible to say for sure, but yeah, people will be debating this for a while.
I think so too.
I mean, Alvarez is a problem for Barcelona. His pace was causing all sorts of trouble. Taking him off, it seemed to throw Atletico off, and Barcelona took control of the midfield. Was it fatigue, tactical? Who knows? But it definitely had a big impact.
It's what makes football so fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
These little moments, these split-second decisions that can change everything. And we get to analyze it all, dissect it, debate the what-ifs and the could-have-beens.
It's true. And that in-depth analysis, the tactical breakdown, the emotional side of things, it helps us appreciate all the layers.
Yeah.
And this match, it had layers.
It really did. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's turn it back to you, the listener. What stood out to you the most about this match? Was it Barcelona's incredible comeback, the tactics from these two brilliant managers, the rise of a young star like Yamal, or maybe what could have been if Simeone had made a different choice with that substitution? Whatever it was, I hope you keep exploring, keep analyzing, and keep talking about it, because that's what makes football and this show so much fun.